I want you all to know what I'm giving up to be here tonight. Jason, what I'm giving up for you to be here tonight. My wife offered me something very special that a wife offers her husband. Something that's really good for our marriage. Something we haven't done in a really long time. We gotta wait till the kids go to bed. We need to set the mood and, of course I'm speaking of watching Fellowship of the Ring. Wake up, everybody. Today is May 5th, and we are Never Free to Play, a podcast where we talk about all the video games we wish we were playing. I'm one of your hosts, Karch Velocity, joined by my co-host, Jason Wright. If you decide you like us, and you want to support Jason's Amazon stress shopping, you can find us at neverfreetoplay.com, patreon.com/neverfreetoplay, or on all the other social media where we are Never Free to Play. If you have questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, feedback, please send it to us at neverfreetoplay@gmail.com. Jason, how are you doing?
Doing well, man. But I gotta say, I got a bone to pick with Netflix today. And I feel like this is the most important thing we could talk about at the top of the show.
Of course, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to talk about episode title etiquette because Lauren and I are really into trashy TV right now. We watched Love is Blind, we watched The Circle, we watched Too Hot to Handle, and one of the most touted reality shows of all time, of course, is The Bachelor. So we went and it's on Netflix. Okay, cool. But it's only one season. It's season 13. Well, we did a little digging. Turns out that's one of the best seasons, quote unquote. I don't know what that means. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's check it out. It's 2009. It feels dated in all different ways. Like the filming style is dated. It's 4:3 aspect ratio. It's not shot in it's not even 720p. It looks god awful on our TV. Every like setting B-roll shot from like a helicopter is really, really hazy and weird. But I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get over all this. I'm trying to get into this show. And I get into this show. And like, oh man, I'm really digging it. We're finally down to 5 girls. Like, this is great. I'm really, really enjoying it. Every single episode title has been it's been like episode 1301, episode 1302, episode 1303. So I'm like, I wonder how many episodes are on here. So I go into the menu to like scroll down the list of episodes to see how many episodes they are. The last episode is titled Jason and Blank's Wedding, like the winner. Jason and Blank.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Why would you do that?
That's ridiculous.
It made me so mad.
Like, it's a garbage show and you guys are garbage people for watching it, but nobody deserves that.
Right? Like, why would you do that? What person typed that in? Somebody had to have typed that in. It makes me, I don't think this is irrationally angry. I think this is a rational amount of anger to have at Netflix. And I'm honestly thinking about emailing them about it because I can't be the only person that this has happened to. It's a travesty.
They probably just used the original episode names, and the wedding the one where they reveal who the winner was?
Well, I bet that the wedding was the one after that. I bet the finale. Yeah, this was probably like the follow-up to the finale.
So it makes sense. And then they just got lazy and just used that, not thinking about how easy it is to view all the episode titles.
Right. Honestly, I mean, I know better now. This will never happen to me again. But I tried so hard to avoid spoilers because when they show the women, every single time they're on camera, like if they're talking to the camera, the cutaway where they're just like talking, it says their name, what city they're from, what their occupation is, and how old they are. Well, it didn't tell us the male's name is Jason, like the Bachelor. His name is Jason for season 13. And it didn't tell us how old he was, or if it did, it only said it at like the very, very beginning. So I was trying to Google that, and it's like a minefield. You're trying so hard to avoid spoilers. And I did successfully. I successfully avoided spoilers. And who would have known that I would have got spoiled by the platform I was watching it on? Like,
it's So dramatic. Did you guys get a big kick out of his name being Jason?
No, not at all.
See, that would be unique to me, I guess. Like,
right.
Like, oh, hey, this guy's name's Karch on The Bachelor.
Right. That would be, interesting for you because, like you said last episode, how many Karches do you know?
0.
You probably know them all. So,
yep, me.
Is it a more common name in Hungary?
I don't think it's a real name, dude. I think my dad made it up. I mean, he didn't make it up because there's Karch Karai, a very well-known beach volleyball player / coach, athlete, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody named him that. But like when you Google my name, it's weird. It's really weird. So the answer is no. I don't think it is popular over there.
Okay.
I think it exists technically as a name that other people have, but it's not one that you're going to find in a lot of places.
You know what I found interesting? And I'm sorry, this is kind of going off on a tangent, but like in other countries, I think they name their people things that mean something in that language, but they're like nouns.
Yeah,
so I had a friend who was Turkish in college. We had a lot of Turkish people in my department for some reason, and like her name was Hamai, which is like it's like an interesting, unique, pretty name. Apparently, I think it just means sky in her language. I'm like,
we literally have people are named Sky sometimes. Like
sometimes,
in English,
but I feel like it's
and
more
April,
rare.
people name them after months. They name them after states. Like, Tennessee is a name that people give to their daughters, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, no, that's not an especially like pretty name to give to. Like, I understand some. Like, I understand like Carolina, or something like that,
which are also named after people. So it's this weird roundabout thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
how have you been? Because I feel like I've been talking a lot about me.
I'm fine. I don't want to talk about me.
We don't have to talk about you.
Don't make me talk about me.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm not crying. You're crying.
When fine sounds true? When he cries while he says it.
Is that a lyric?
No, it was a really butchered Friends quote paraphrase. I messed it up though, and now I feel dumb. So we're gonna move on to housekeeping.
Great.
Brush that right under the rug. Reminder to just please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment, leave reviews on all the podcast stuff. Please follow us on Twitter. I'm talking into the void, people, and I don't know what to do because people are liking my tweets, but no one's following me back.
Josh followed us, so shout out to Josh. Sean, yes. I don't even know if you have a Twitter, but if you do, you should follow us.
And then get the Coast Guard to follow us.
Right. That would be good.
Yeah. Whole Coast Guard. I'm trying to get one of the big names. I'm gonna woo them with my witty banter on one of their comments one day, and they're gonna be like, "Man, I'm gonna follow that guy because he made me laugh." I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, you do you.
All right, we have an official release schedule that we will try to keep to. The podcast will go live on the various feeds Thursday, the YouTube video the next day on that Friday, and then we have our officially branded NFTP Finally Plays. Those are our Let's Play videos. If we have one that week, it'll go up on Sunday. And sometimes we'll have two. Just, that's not as big a priority. We'll get them out there and we'll get them done, but they might just kind of go out whenever they're ready. But Sunday is the plan for those two. I got a couple shout outs that I want to give to friends of the show. First and foremost, shout out to Mars Menagerie over at Reddit for opening their lovely Animal Crossing island Wisteria for turnip selling. But I'll talk about that more later on the details of my turnip selling adventure. And now shout out to Aaron from work. Turns out he's listening, and rumor has it that he loves a good ice clink. So thank you, Aaron, and thank you, Mars.
Are you gonna ice clink for him?
I'm out. I drank it, ate it.
Oh my gosh, you ate the ice?
Well, yeah,
you savage. Also, shout out to Kane, who said he was listening until I said on an episode that he wasn't listening, and he said he stopped listening out of spite.
Ooh,
so
I respect.
I told him I'd give him a shout out if he started listening again. So we'll see if I get a text about this.
There's no more Karch move than something like that. I'll tell you though. All right, Jason, let's hear our corrections.
All right, Greg. Ignore that cough. Start corrections music now. Okay, so we may have jumped the gun a little bit on our leaker bashing Last week we bashed some imaginary Naughty Dog employee. We bashed them pretty hard about leaking private information from their company. Turns out it was not a leaker. It was actually not a Sony employee, not a Naughty Dog employee. But most of everything we said still stands. And Karch, you had a comment here.
Yes, I did. Would you like me to just go ahead and say that?
Go ahead and say that.
All right. So people's reaction to the idea that a Naughty Dog employee, like, one of their full-time Naughty Dog employees on a contract or whatever, the idea that one of them would leak it was just heinous and ridiculous, which is not. It's not a ridiculous notion to think that they might have done it because they had the most immediate access to it. There is news of unrest and, disgruntled workers. That's not a fabrication at this point. And they aren't just humans. And people need to watch how high a pedestal they put a game studio on. Because The Last of Us is not that great a game.
Uncharted 4 up. I'm cutting you off.
No, Uncharted 4 is way better.
Music. Uncharted 4 is not way better. Uncharted 3 is like maybe on the same level. But Uncharted 4 is not better than The Last of Us.
We'll have to dig into that another time. I'd really like to hear your opinions on why you think Uncharted 3 is on the same level as The Last of Us?
No, but I think Uncharted 3 is better than Uncharted 4.
You suck. Get out of here. All right. So, speaking of The Last of Us leaks and Last of Us news, there were updates to the leaker, as we said. Guess it was hackers after all. Jonathan Dornbush over at IGN, via a tweet from Jason Schreier, reports that it was some third-party hacker, not related to anything working directly on the project, that were able to use some file or code in an existing game from Naughty Dog. I don't know which one, but they used that to then hack into something and get the data that they needed to post the videos. So
yeah, there was a patch that they pushed out that gave that if you exploited it, it gave you access to the developers' server somehow.
Which is, that's whoops. I mean,
yeah,
that
seriously.
really sucks. Like, I wonder if they almost wish it had been just some malcontent who legitimately had access to it, but then decided to be a giant jerk and give it to everybody.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I honestly wonder if someone lost their job over that.
Maybe.
I don't know how like the IT world works when it's something so public. You know what I mean?
Right.
The thing I found interesting from this article, it's actually not anything to do with the subject matter, but they mentioned that the download for The Last of Us 2 is going to be 100 gigabytes. Ooh. And that is more than 10% of the PS5's storage space. So, I understand that this was developed technically. This is not a next-gen game, but it's so close. Like, you have to think games that are being developed right now are next-gen games. Like, games that are being developed right now as we speak. And, they did put out this story about how they're going to have certain efficiencies built into their architecture where you could, like, pull assets differently out of your... I don't know how the data structures work and these sorts of things. I wonder how that's going to impact file size. But, geez, if every game's 100 gigabytes in this next-gen world, you could probably only fit about 8 games on your PS5 at any given time. So
isn't that enough, though?
For some people it is, and for a lot of people it isn't. I mean, I play a lot of multiplayer games that I like to just have on tap, as well as like the main game that I'm working on. So like I might want to have Fortnite and Call of Duty, whatever their battle royale is, and Rocket League, and Far Cry 5. Like I might want to have, that's 4 games off the top of my head that I probably want to have downloaded at any given time. Like my hard drive on my PC is only 500 gigabytes. Mm-hmm. And I bump up against that, just having a handful of games that I want to play. I have like Beat Saber on here. That's one that I like to have downloaded, but I don't play it all the time. But when I want to play it, I don't want to wait to download it. And it's the same with like Jackbox games. I want to have those on tap if I have people over.
That's a bad example because those are tiny.
No, you're right. I'm just saying I'm sure there's plenty of people that have a network of friends that's like, oh, we play these like 5 or 6 games, and that doesn't leave a lot of extra space for new games.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. But it's like, but I don't know what people want. I mean, outside of some really rare occurrences, like I know Doom and id, the developers for Doom, and presumably the same went for Doom Eternal. The assets are renowned for how compressed they are. Like it's a fairly small file size for the download for the game, even though it still looks so good. At this point, it actually doesn't look that great compared to certain other games that have come out more recently. But I mean, not Eternal's the original. I haven't actually spent a lot of personal time with Eternal. But my point is, you want a great looking game, it's going to take up giant space. These assets here are huge. This high definition everything. It's like it's ramping up way faster than affordable storage space. And if you can only fit 8 games, but you want them all to look really good, like Call of Duty and The Last of Us 2, this is what you got to do, you know?
No, I'm with you. It's just like you would think it with a next gen offering, Sony would have put a little bit. I don't know, like 2 terabytes, not crazy.
Well, you know, the rumors are that they're pushing $500 to break even at this rate. So yeah, it would have been crazy apparently, because everything else on top of that, like I know it's only 1 more terabyte of data, but it still would have bumped it up another like $15 to $20 on the cost side of things, which means they would have had to bump it up another $15 or $20 on the retail side of things.
Sure.
So
yeah. Well, man, I get it. It's all very calculated. It's one more reason to buy a PC. That's all.
It is. Not that we need it, but there it is anyway.
Yep.
All right. And then lastly, regarding that, there's a new trailer reveal tomorrow. So if you've managed to avoid the spoilers, I unfortunately did not, but I wasn't really going to play it anyway. But if you manage to avoid them, you can go see that and check it out. I mean, check it out anyway, but that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time, I believe.
At this point, I'm not looking at any trailers. I'm already hyped for the game. I want to play the game. I don't want to see any more of it.
Yeah, I agree. Usually, if they have, like most games by this point have sent out like 4 or 5 trailers, and then the most they usually do another final one that is a little too spoilery. I would find it very hard to imagine that someone like Naughty Dog, especially after suffering such a huge leak, would have a trailer that isn't just more hype. And it would be nice to see something that has a bit of a more vertical slice to it, see a few more characters, because the original trailer at that E3 presentation was really just a cutscene from the beginning of the game. It was very slow burn. You get to see a potential love interest for Ellie and all that. And so I'll watch it just to see how it is. And maybe
tell me how it is. Tell me how it is spoiler free.
I will.
Speaking of trailers, what else did we get this week, Karch?
We got a new game announcement. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So they announced the game and the title, and then the next day we had like a 4-minute cinematic trailer, and they launched the website that had a bunch of the features. I'm going to roll through those real quick, and then we can talk about our impressions. Did you watch the trailer?
I did.
Okay, cool. So it's Viking themed, obviously. It's during the time period where the Vikings are raiding kind of like not ancient England, but like England has not unified yet. It's a bunch of different kingdoms. If you ever watched Vikings, the show on TV, it looks like they lifted it right out of there, because that was lifted right out of history. But like, you'll know what I mean if you've seen it. It's like, oh, I know exactly what we're going to be doing and who we're going to be fighting. It looked great. The trailer was amazing. It was well directed and choreographed, and the cinematic visual beauty of it was all really cool. Holiday 2020, so that's a big promise coming up soon.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's see here. They didn't show any gameplay yet that I saw. Maybe there was, and it was really brief, but I don't think they did.
I don't think they did.
Yeah.
Not any real gameplay, all kind of pre-rendered stuff.
They're going to have stuff like, I mean, clearly they're going to have boats. Vikings are known for sailing, not on huge open waters, but, they definitely did a lot of ocean sailing on their smaller little raiding ships and stuff. Settlements are going to be a thing, so you're going to be like raising up a town. Hopefully they don't bungle that, because a lot of the time when especially these big kind of more open world games do, which I guarantee this game will be like, they kind of mess it up. Specifically, most recently, on a large scale anyway, was Fallout 4. A lot of people hated that aspect of it. It was just kind of this chore that nobody liked. So yeah, I hope they bring the combat up to a new level. I remember I played a few hours of Odyssey and I kind of liked it, but then I wasn't having a lot of fun with the combat, and then the game just blew open like wide with how much stuff you could do and how many places you could go and how giant the map was, and I wasn't ready to stomach even 20 hours of that, let alone 40 plus. And I know the game is actually probably closer to 60 plus hours.
Unfortunately, I don't see a future where Ubisoft isn't making that type of game. Like, I think that's their thing. That's what they think their niche is. A lot of people love it. It might not be for you and me, but even if they bring that combat to the next level, I can't see them getting away from that the way they do open world games. Mm-hmm. That said, this game looked incredible. Like that trailer was very captivating, and I almost just wished it was a show, to be honest with you. I was like, oh my gosh,
it's called
watch
Vikings.
This show.
Go watch Vikings. It's really good.
What year?
They're in season 6 or 7 now, so 2020 minus. It's good, especially the first 4 or 5.
Okay. What is the streaming service?
I think we watched it on Amazon. I think History Channel might be like the producer for the show, the distributor. Sweet. But I think
it's all like on par with, say, Game of Thrones, like late seasons in terms of production, or what would you put it on par with?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, I could be on board.
The violence is visceral, and they do that really well. There's a bit. The drama gets a little whatever. We're talking about Vikings instead of the show.
Sure. Yeah. No, so the one thing I did find interesting about this trailer, and other people have probably commented on this, but at the end of it, it only mentioned Xbox Series X and Xbox One. And I know obviously it's a multi-platform game because that's Ubisoft. That's what they do. But I just wonder how much money Microsoft pays for that type of exclusivity on the trailer.
Now, are you sure that the trailer didn't have like the little tag at the bottom with PS4?
I'm almost 100% sure because I paused it and looked.
Okay. Because I know when it opened, it did have the Xbox logo. That for sure I remember. Because then I remember other people were complaining that not only does it seem to be, revolving around Xbox for some sort of, like a promotional thing. It's not. There's no news about it being available for Steam right now.
Really?
Yeah. Or Switch, but no one was surprised when it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm actually, hold on. Yeah, I just pulled it up, and I am not seeing anything about PlayStation 4 here at all. It says Xbox Series X, Xbox One, 4K Ultra HD, and HDR. That is all it says at the end of it. So, anyway, just something to note. I'm sure it's not going to be an exclusive, but it's just kind of interesting.
Yeah. So I might check it out. It depends on what the fall looks like, what holiday 2020 looks like, because I don't have any plans because nobody knows what's coming out holiday 2020.
Sure, and you might not even be able to leave your house. But it should be available on Ubisoft's subscription service, so that would be how I would do it if I was going to. Because I'm just, that would be a very minimal investment to check it out.
For sure. All right. Speaking of new games, we're not going to hear any from Nintendo. There are reports from their partners that there will be no Nintendo Direct for June due to work-from-home hurdles. This comes to us from VentureBeat by Jeff Grubb. So yeah, that's it. No Nintendo Direct for June, which there normally would have been for E3. I guess they're just having too much trouble putting it together. I know I'm not going to get too far in the details here because I'm not an expert, but anytime it comes to Japan and coronavirus and work from home, you hear a lot of extra difficulties they have because they don't do that kind of stuff. They don't work from home. So either they're not working from home and then also not working in the office, or they're just really bad at working from home. And so they're having trouble like coordinating everything. I guess that also just means there won't be one for May. We'll make the assumption that since there's not one for June and they're making a point of telling their other developer partners that there's not going to be anything planned for May either. The article does cite a potential cultural clash with work from home as an additional complication. So I'm not too far off base when I say that, those kinds of things.
I found that interesting that they mentioned in the article that, everyone outside of Japan views Japan as this kind of like cutting edge on technology country. But they said, a lot of people, they don't have laptops. They don't have Wi-Fi. It's not uncommon for businesses to send communication via fax versus email. and they really are strong believers in doing business face to face because that's how you show respect. And so yeah, it's interesting that they're having to try to balance all this. And yeah, I totally get this move. It's kind of disappointing as a fan, and it makes you wonder, why did they do that direct mini and then have nothing for that E3 timeframe? But that kind of indicates to me that this was a last minute decision.
It was. I guarantee. I think they had every intention of releasing this direct around the same time they normally would have. Otherwise, they wouldn't be saying there is. Nintendo doesn't say they're not doing something unless they already said they were going to do something. You know, like we don't. Yeah. How long did we wait for the direct mini? 4 months practically. And they didn't tell us they weren't sending one, and they practically shadow dropped that direct mini in the first place. So, like, this was a last minute decision. You know, this is a delay of sorts. We're going to get it sometime, probably by the end of summer, I'd have to say, because that gives them until almost September to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm of two minds. Like, on the one hand, like, I understand, and on the other, I'm like, get your stuff together, Nintendo. Just give the marketing reins to Nintendo North America. I'm so sorry. I understand you're proud of your heritage. You're a Japanese company. Awesome. But you have to understand that you have this global following and this global market. Everything they do is so centered on just what's happening in Japan. And if you need like any more of an indicator of that, look at their Switch reveal event. It was in Japanese, and I think it was like 11 o'clock at night Eastern time is when it happened, or maybe even later, and it was totally dubbed over in English. And that was because they didn't care. They didn't have a single Nintendo of America representative there. They had like, it was bizarre to watch, to be honest with you. And everybody, like, the reactions from that, as I remember, were negative. Like, people were thinking, no, Nintendo is dead. They're lucky that this hardware is as amazing and capable as it is, and people have attached to it, because the success that they're seeing right now has nothing to do with their marketing. Like, it just doesn't.
Agreed. 100%. There's nothing I can add to that. You're a $1 billion plus company. You know, you trade on, like you said, the global market. Come on, guys. Get something together.
Yeah. Sony's a Japanese company, and they're not having this problem. I mean, they have other problems, but they're not having this problem.
Oh, they have so many problems.
Yeah.
So that's sad. But we have a superhero to the rescue. Geoff Keighly, you son of a gun, you did it. Summer Game Fest will stand in for what would normally have been E3 festivities. Michael McWhorter reports at Polygon. So basically, Geoff Keighly, he's a big mover and shaker in the industry. It's really hard to pin down what he does exactly. I honestly don't know. I don't know who employs Geoff Keighly. I don't know if he's self-employed. But whenever there's a big event going down in gaming, when it's like this, you know, this marketing, you know, showcase stuff, he's always there. He's always running something. And he is the key guy behind the Game Awards. That is his baby, and he owns and runs it every year, which I love. It's getting better every year. I can't wait till this year's too, although it might be a little lackluster. But yeah, he's going to be running this Summer Game Fest thing. They're going to be partnering with a bunch of developers and published from the months of May through August. Some of those include 2K, Activision, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard Entertainment, Bungie, CD Projekt Red, Digital Extremes, Electronic Arts, Microsoft, Private Division, Riot Games, Sony Interactive Entertainment, Square Enix, Valve, and Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. So that's a lot of big names, a lot of big publishers, a couple developers in there too, with games that either people know about, like CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. Even though, I mean, that's a sure thing. That's coming, you know, in September. Everyone's really excited. Still, you know, people are going to want to see more about it. Of course, you've got Activision with Call of Duty stuff, EA, always big name, Blizzard. I don't think they have a lot to offer, but we'll see what they've got, and, you know, all these other people too.
Maybe a D4 update, Diablo 4, that'd be nice.
Oh, that's true. I totally forgot about that.
I mean, so that game's probably still several years off, but it'd be cool.
That's why I forgot about it.
One thing I definitely hold on. Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Did they publish the Arkham games?
They do. They got the Batman license.
I really hope there's something there. That would be insane. And Geoff Keighly is big on having that one more thing moment. I mean, he's done that. Like, didn't they announce The Last of Us 2 at the Game Awards? Or some other big game like that? I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember. I don't think so. But yeah, they've had, big moments like that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
So it's definitely interesting. I'm happy about it overall. It's kind of the thing that it just seems like the people who put on E3 should have been able to do something like this, but you're kind of relying on just like this one guy. But he's got the pedigree to do it. He's got the experience to do it. He knows how to run these digital events. And what I will say is that ultimately it sounds better than IGN's Summer of Gaming that was announced back in April. I think they had to go out of their way to mention that Twitter was going to be there because I don't think they have the same draw.
That's right.
But like some of the same players are going to be at both of these events, and they're in the same time frame. So I do wonder what's going to be the distinguishing thing between those two presentations, and which event these companies are going to put emphasis on. But yeah, it's going to be. I can't wait to see what comes of this.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Summer Gaming, we do have one announcement already for an EA Digital only EA Play event will be covered by IGN Summer of Gaming on June 11th. So EA Play is what EA does during E3 every year. It's usually pretty lackluster, and they just haven't ever seemed to get off on a good footing. Like the best thing they had to display to showcase last year was Jedi Fallen Order, and it was really lackluster. Said that again. It was really boring. Like people were not feeling that game from just that presentation. People, of course, wanted Star Wars, and so they were ready when it finally came out, and most people liked it. But like for the most part, it's usually just like FIFA stuff and Madden stuff. If that makes sense in that time frame, I'm not sure, but that's one of IGN's exclusives. I'm assuming. I can't imagine that they're going to have EA Play on Summer of. That's a weird thing. It's like, I mean, you can't have an exclusive digital event unless you're charging, Like, what does it mean that IGN's hosting this? What does it mean that Summer Game Fest with Geoff Keighly is hosting something? I'm glad that somebody's organizing it, but who is organizing it is kind of irrelevant to me, I guess, is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, because you're going to have the Twitch streamers that are going to be streaming like themselves watching it and reacting to it, and a lot of people are going to see it there. But I mean, I guess if you have the rights to it, maybe you're the host broadcaster. Like maybe, I don't know how that works. Maybe it's your Twitch channel is the origin, or maybe whatever. Maybe it's streaming from your website, or like, okay. So for instance, that, the Geoff Keighly's event, Summer Game Fest, that has its own website. So it's possible that everything has to originate from there.
Maybe.
No,
I'm not smart, so I don't know.
Yeah. Let's leave that to smart people.
We will. So yeah, like I said, I'm not super excited about this unless, I'm not excited about it because I'm not a big fan of EA's catalog in the first place. But at the same time, there's no major buzz about them, so you would think they would have to bring something that's going to wow us because we don't know what they're bringing, and surprises are always, fun to see. But for the most part, it'll probably just be Star Wars because they have the Star Wars license, and if they know what's good for them, they'll bring a Star Wars game.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Star Wars,
speaking of that, sorry, not to steal your thunder, but I read today that they are shutting down the Battlefront 2 servers.
That's right. Wait, the servers? I thought they were just no, not the servers. They're getting rid of their. I saw this too. Updates, major updates are no longer going to be coming out for the game. I think.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Because that would be crazy to shut down the servers.
No. Well, you know what? We'll correct that next week. I am sorry I brought it up because it wasn't on our doc. Yeah, the game's final update. So they're just discontinuing like major support to it.
Right.
They're
It'd
not
just be
shutting down
bug
the servers.
fixes
My
and
bad.
stuff.
I'm sorry that I alarmed everybody. My bad. My bad. We don't have to be in corrections next week. Sorry.
Thank you for the apology, Jason. Speaking of Star Wars, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is getting a free update. It's not small, but it's not big either. Some of the features that'll be included in the update will give you the ability to replay the game with your boring cosmetics. You'll be able to engage in its irritating combat trials at meditation points, which is your save points. You'll be able to create your own combat challenges, so you can just put a bunch of ATSTs in the same, battle arena if you think that's really fun. They'll be adding more really basic cosmetics, and that's about it.
Cool. I mean, I saw this on the doc because you put it here, and then I was like, I care so little about this game that I'm not even going to look it up.
Yeah. I think it's funny that it's been 6 months since it came out, and then this is what they came out with, and it's free, and that's nice, and they're not asking anybody to pay for this, because who in their right mind would? But, I don't know, just don't.
Or just save it as like a cool little filler thing at your EA event that you're doing in 1 month.
That too. That's a really good point. They'll probably bring it up and show it off. Because all they showed so far was a trailer, to my knowledge. I don't think they actually showed in-game footage of these new, combat modes and trials and stuff. But that's a really good point. You should have just waited 1 month for this announcement. Ta-da.
Yeah.
Oh, well. And then finally, I'm sure we're going to get a bunch of new stuff throughout the week, but on Thursday, May 7th, Xbox will be hosting an Inside Xbox and give us a first look at some next-gen games. Don't know what that means. I'm a little skeptical about how good that's going to be and if it's going to be anything interesting. Hopefully it's new games, because that's what we want to see with these kinds of things. We want to see new games, especially when you're talking about next-gen games.
It has to be new games, because Xbox has also gone on record saying that none of their quote-unquote next-gen games are going to be exclusive for an indefinite period, but at least that launch window, all those games are going to be compatible with the Xbox One. So I can't imagine, what are you going to go show that's not new?
Well, they could show one of the games that have been updated to run on next-gen, but that's not a next-gen game. That's a current-gen game that's been up-resed. So
I
right.
could see him showing off that Obsidian game maybe a little more.
The one you didn't care for?
Yep.
Yeah. Where you're all shrunk down and stuff?
Right. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the video game.
Yeah, I guess that's technically a next-gen game. I wouldn't be calling that if I were them, but
Grounded is what it's called.
Good name, though. Good name.
I believe.
All right, and that does it for lengthy news today. Lots of stuff. This is our first, it's not E3, but this is our first E3 doing the podcast. And I was thinking about, what's that going to look like for us? It's going to be really hard normally to catch up on all the stuff that was announced from day to day and then talk about that in our, small little time period where we're going to do more videos. And now it's going to be even more spread out. Like I said earlier, the Summer Game Fest is going to be spread out over the months of May and August instead of the days of the first week of June. So it's just going to be will it be more manageable or will it be harder to manage because things are going to be kind of spread out and less contained than usual?
Sure. And I'm open to doing more frequent episodes if that's what the situation dictates and you're down for it. So we'll just have to kind of play that by ear.
Cool. All right. Let's stop talking about news and talk about what we've been playing. What you been playing, Jason?
Well, I have to start with what I haven't been playing, unfortunately. And I promised this to Robert, who may or may not listen to the episode, but Sean is going to listen, and he needs to hear this too. This is me, Jason, issuing a public apology for bailing on Sunday's Sea of Thieves session. I make no excuses, just promise to do better in the future.
I'm not sorry at all.
I didn't think you would be. Anyway, so that's what I haven't been playing. I played no Sea of Thieves. I played no social gaming at all. The only thing that I played in the past week was stupid Yakuza Kiwami.
Kiwami.
What is it, Karch? I don't even know.
Yakuza Kiwami.
Whatever. I hated it.
Hold up. This is the game. If you're wondering why Jason's just so mad at this game, it's because I forced him to play it because he lost the bet last week.
Right. I lost the bet, the game that we play at the end of this episode. And, yeah, I had to play an hour of Yakuza Kiwami. And apparently what I learned after, so I will link this in this video, but I did an NFTP, finally plays on this. This is a 2016 remake of, is it a PS1 or a PS2 game?
I think it's a PS2 game. I'm not sure though.
Okay. So
it's not PS1, that's for sure.
Okay, so probably PS2, maybe PS3, but it's a remake that came out in 2016. And its age definitely shows. I didn't know. I legitimately thought it was a 2016 game as I was playing it. So if you do watch the full video, I do make some comments about that because there's some areas of the game where it's like fixed camera, and there's some areas of the game where like you're walking in the city and there's a subway station, but you can't go down there. You're invisible walled, and there's all these shops and stuff, and you can't go in there. And what I will say is that the combat was fun. It was very, I don't want to say arcadey, but like it kind of reminded me of those beat 'em ups, like Double Dragon or like that Ninja Turtle time traveler game where you're just kind of walking around and like beating stuff up. Like it kind of reminded me a little bit of a 3D version of that, or like, I don't want to say Soul Calibur, but it had like this aspect to it because you're in the game and you're playing the game and you're walking in the city, and then it does this little cutscene and it jumps you into the combat, and it's almost like it turns into this arena fighter. And the combat was pretty cool. They had some cool mechanics in terms of like the way you can lock on and dodge, and the way you can hold someone, and you have this like charged up mode called like fire mode, and then you can do this like crazy attack on them that's really strong and knocks them down. But like I said, this game definitely showed its age. It was definitely cutscene heavy, and within the first hour, personally, I wasn't hooked. It's all in Japanese, which is usually, I have trouble with, this is going to sound so bad, but like I have trouble reading the subtitles fast enough to keep up with it. or I do read the subtitles and I miss everything that's happening on the screen. So I just don't enjoy things where I have to read subtitles for an extended period, which is why I haven't watched that show about the drug smuggler on Netflix that everybody loves.
Oh, Narcos.
Yeah, Narcos. I really want to watch Narcos, but I can't because it's all in Spanish. So
I didn't realize that.
Yep. Yeah, it's mostly, I would say it's like 80% subtitles.
Well, you know me. I can speak Spanish, so.
Yeah, I know that about you. So, I mean, Yakuza, it was fine. I think that it's definitely, there are people out there that would enjoy it. You would probably enjoy it, but...
Dude, I'll tell you what. Watching you, I've always wanted to try Yakuza, so that was part of why I made you play it. But also, just watching you have such a bad time made me want to play it even more. So.
Well, you're welcome. Go play it. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I spent an hour looking for a ring. I'm a Yakuza. What am I doing? I have other things to do. I don't need to be looking for a ring for a girl for a birthday party.
A good Yakuza helps his community, because without community, what are you? You're nothing. You're nothing. But yeah, so you guys can go play that on Game Pass. So yeah, Yakuza Kiwami is a remake, a current gen remake, or maybe it's a PS3 remake of the original one. There are 6 or 7 of them. There's Yakuza 1 through 6, and there's Yakuza 0, which is a prequel. Yakuza 0 is also available on Game Pass. Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon, is coming out soonish, sometime this year, sometime next year. Which I was probably going to wait to play the series until that one came out, because all these other games revolve around that character you were playing in your Let's Play. Your finally plays, excuse me. And I didn't want to really like dive into that long of a, story at any weird point. So I was like, oh, if I could start fresh in 7, and they're revamping the combat and all that stuff. So,
but aren't they revamping like more than just the combat? Like it's a totally different genre almost.
Oh yeah, it's going to be turn-based combat, which is going to be really cool because it's not going to be a fantasy game or probably for the most part, it won't involve guns either. It's going to be like, street brawling thugs. But I'm really excited to see what they do with it.
I'll be honest with you, it won't matter because you're going to have one encounter every hour.
That's fine. I like world building, Jason. I like fleshing out characters.
Flesh. Speaking of flesh. Those flesh textures were amazing. Sorry, I'm done.
That's right. You did like the neck skin.
Dude, the 5 o'clock shadows looked amazing. That's my one compliment of the game.
We're going to start judging games based on how well the neck skin is.
Well, and this is the thing. It's kind of a different offshoot. Sorry, my mind's going a million different ways. One of the things that kind of frustrated me is like I kind of was enjoying the cinematic cutscenes, but then it would like go for, I don't know, 10 minutes in a cinematic cutscene, and then it would kick you over into some game engine rendered cutscenes where you had to click through the dialogue. And I'm just like,
that happens a lot in Japanese stuff. In fact, the game, it's not Japanese, but the game I'm about to talk about does the same thing. And yeah, these days, games should just have an auto scroll for text. If it's not, text should always auto scroll. Like if you can turn it off if you want to, if that's an option, but like it should always auto scroll.
Agreed. And it doesn't really make sense as to why they kick it out of the rendered, the pre-rendered cutscene, because it looks a lot better.
Yeah, why not just finish the scene?
Right. Anyway, okay, I'm done talking about that. If you want to see more of it, I'll have a link up, and I'll probably try to put it as like a tile on the YouTube video, or you can check it out on our YouTube channel. Just search for Never Free to Play, and it'll be in the Finally Plays playlist.
NFTP Finally Plays.
Woo!
Yakuza.
All right, Karch, what did you play, man?
I randomly decided to finally play a game I downloaded a few weeks ago called Indivisible. This was a game that popped up onto my radar about a year ago or more. I think it was like I had bought a game physically, which I haven't done in forever, and it was like advertised on one of those like little like paper inserts that are in the case. And I was like, "How, man, that looks really cool!" Just like immediately, the art style caught me. I looked up like a trailer, and I was like, "Oh, well, that seems really cool too." And then so I just kind of put it on my watch list. It finally came out. It was going to come for Switch. It finally did come out for Switch. I don't know, like a week or so ago. Funnily enough, like the developers didn't even know they were pushing it to the store. Like they just woke up one morning and their game was on Switch, and they were like, "Oh, hey, that's cool." The marketing team at the publisher didn't tell me anything about that, but that's just in a little side. Anyway, it is a game developed by Lab Zero Games, whose the only other game they've currently made is Skullgirls, which is a anime-inspired 2D fighter. It's very similar art style to Indivisible, and Indivisible is also published by 505 Games, who they've got a lot of stuff out there, so you can look that up if you want to see what other things they've had their fingers in. But it's 2D animated characters, again, very anime-inspired, but also very cartoony, similar to the Shantae series, if you've ever seen that.
I was just thinking that I was looking at some art here, and it does very much look like that.
Yeah, it looks and feels like, for the most part, you're controlling a cartoon character. It looks like it would be very much at home on Cartoon Network. Like if they made a show about this game on Cartoon Network, I'd be like, yeah, that fits. It's got that kind of like Steven Universe vibe, kind of a what's that other one with the dog and the boy? Adventure Time.
Yeah.
So I've never watched either of them. So yeah, it was on Xbox Game Pass. So I'm going to go on a little side rant here real quick. I've mentioned this before, but there's this consequence to how awesome Game Pass is, and that I don't want to buy a game when I can play it on Game Pass. Except I don't like gaming on my PC, especially when I can play it on my Switch. So how can I justify paying $30 or $40 or even $60 when I can just lump it into my $5 a month subscription? Like, there's just no way I can justify it, except I don't want to play it on my PC.
Well, Karch, all I can say to that is that I feel you there. And what I've done is that I will stream it to my laptop and go play it wherever I want it.
My internet sucks, though. It
No,
just doesn't.
that's local networking gear, though. It doesn't matter if your internet sucks. Your PC is
I'm sorry.
hardwired.
I misspoke. I was being generic. My internet sucks, but also my in-home network sucks. Like I need a better Wi-Fi modem.
Well, that's on you, man.
I know it is on me, but it sucks either way. All right, mini rant over.
Okay.
Oh wait, yeah, mini rant over. So the main character is Ajna. She's kind of dumb, but she's this brute force brawler girl. She does martial arts and swings an axe and stuff. Right off the get-go, she's training with her dad. Her dad's disappointed with her hot-headedness. He runs away from their training session, and then she comes to find him, and boom, the village is being burned. There's this haughty anime boy who has killed her father right in front of her. She wants revenge, and then she sucks him up into her head. And that's pretty much the premise. She has this weird ability that we haven't gotten to the explanation of, but she meets people, and then she sucks them into her inner realm, and they basically live inside her head, except for when combat happens. And combat is the kind of unique part of this game. So it's turn-based, but it's very fast-paced. You have 4 party members at any given time, but I've already acquired almost 8 party members, so I have to choose who I want at any given time. They're all very unique. When you're fighting enemies, each character is assigned to a face button. So on a PlayStation controller, for instance, that would be triangle, circle, X, and square. And if I want the person on top assigned a triangle to attack, I smash triangle. Same thing with square, circle, and X. And they do their thing, and it kind of you can time the attacks in certain ways, so you can kind of juggle and combo the enemies so that they don't get a chance to attack. Same thing goes for blocking. So when the enemy attacks, I can't attack while they're attacking, and I have to press the appropriate button when they're targeting a certain character. So if they're attacking the top person, I got to hit triangle, otherwise I'll get hit and take extra damage.
So it's turn-based.
It is turn-based, but it's very active. It's as active as turn-based can be, if that makes any sense. Yeah. You're not moving around the battlefield, and then when you run into enemies, you do go into a kind of a separate little scene to do battle with them. And there is, like I said, there are turns, but it's based on the character's charge speeds. So, some people can attack very frequently, other people attack very infrequently, depending on what kind of attacks they have. Each character is very unique in both visual design. I love the visual design for the characters, but they're also unique in the way they do combat. You've got your healers, you've got your defense-oriented people, your DPSers. You can alternate, or you can modify the attacks. So you can just press the button, they'll do a normal attack, or you can press a directional button on the D-pad along with the button, and they'll do something different. Now, so for some people, that's just, okay, I'm going to strike you, and you're going to bounce up into the air. But for some people, there's this girl who heals, and so she'll heal you with that instead of doing damage. There's another one who has a hawk, and she will jump onto the hawk, and that completely changes her moveset at that point. And she can jump off the hawk and have the other moveset. And that can be good or bad, but it's very complicated and it hurts my brain a bit. But I really like it. So,
how far in are you?
Probably only 2 or 3 hours. But okay. I definitely want to go back to it. I might not. We'll see.
Well, that's the beauty of Game Pass.
It is the beauty. I can drop it like a bad habit if I want to and not feel bad. But out of combat, it has these really light Metroidvania style situations where there's a map and this kind of mazy thing with gates that you can't necessarily open until you get power-ups dictated by the story. Speaking of the story, it's cheesy. It's real basic so far. I don't think it's going to get any more complicated than it is. It's really heavy on the humor. The guy that killed her dad is basically her ally immediately. Yeah, she trashes on him and she calls him stupid, and so do the other characters, and he's the butt of all the jokes. And I'm sure he's going to learn his lesson and be like, oh, I was following orders and I shouldn't have been doing it, and all that stuff. And they're all going to make nice at the end, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Younger Karch would have loved this game. As it is, old grumpy Karch only kind of likes it.
Okay.
So, but I've been having a good time. Don't know if I'll go back. Let's see.
What else you been playing, man?
I haven't been playing Final Fantasy VII.
So you failed your assignment? I feel like you're intentionally not doing it just because I keep giving you these deadlines.
Maybe that's not it, man. I'm not loving it. It's starting to pick back up. So the beginning was amazing. It was everything you wanted out of this game. And then after about the, I don't know, 8-hour mark, it slowed down a lot. And I'm starting to see that the reason they made it as long as they did but ended it as soon as they did in the original storyline is probably more because, hey, we just picked this part of the story because it's a good ending point, and then we decided we got to fill 30 plus hours. And I'm starting to feel that a bit. Like I just skipped a bunch of side quests. I'm not doing side quests anymore. I am just going to critical path it. And I don't know how many more opportunities I'm going to have for side quests. Like, I'm 20 plus hours into this game. I think I'm like 2/3 of the way through, maybe a little bit more. We're going to go raid the big bad guy's building pretty soon. And that's kind of like, that's like the last thing that gets everything else going before you get to the final part of the game. But yeah, like I said, I don't think they sat down and said, man, I want to tell all these stories that we didn't get to tell. They said, I want to end the game here. What kind of stories can we tell in between? And some of them are great, and some of them are not. And I just kind of want to be done with it now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, so. I have a feeling when you get to the end of it, you're gonna really enjoy the whole experience. And like, this is I have to temper, or at least like have the lens of your commentary on this as you go through it, knowing that you like Kingdom Hearts 3. So there's no way you're going to end up not liking this game.
What the heck does that mean?
You like bad games, so,
I don't like Kingdom Hearts 3.
That was your game of the year last year.
It was not.
I'm just...
I hate you. No game has been a bigger disappointment in my entire life than Kingdom Hearts 3. I want everyone to know that. That has to be on the record.
Okay,
right now.
Fine. That's on the record. I honestly, I thought you said you liked it, and then you were going to replay it for the DLC.
I played the DLC.
I thought you were going to replay the whole game so that you could unlock portions of the DLC.
I was going to, but it turns out they didn't do that much extra stuff outside of the DLC. Like, they were going to do a few things like extra story stuff. I also ran out of time, and so I just ended up playing the DLC anyway.
Yeah, well, one day we'll talk about that. We don't have to talk about it now.
Next year, no, we're going to talk about it now. Next year, I'm going to do an entire series playthrough.
Are you going to record it?
No, that's going to take too long.
Twitch stream it.
On my PS4, how?
They have a Twitch stream thing on there.
I don't think so.
Okay. We'll look into it.
We'll look into it.
Okay.
All right. I actually played a lot this week. So I did play a little Final Fantasy VII. Not a lot, but what I played more of was Fire Emblem. I picked it back up, Fire Emblem 3 Houses for the Switch. I got to finish that. It was on my list for my JRPG-a-thon. I've now, quote-unquote, 2 months behind, but I'll probably finish both of these before May is over.
Will that catch you up?
Yes, it'll catch me up because May is going to Xenoblade Chronicles Remaster, which doesn't launch until the end.
I was going to say that's like May 30th. Pretty much. Yeah. You're not going to beat that in May.
So I'll finish, hopefully, because that's on the Switch. So I can play that way more than my PS4 games. But I blame COVID. I was coming off a vacation right into the quarantine and just kind of killed the drive I had going with Fire Emblem. But I'm really close to the end. I'm literally just skipping all this, not all the story beats, but the really extraneous stuff, like all the stupid relationship things. I'm listening to the story conversations, but aside from that, I'm just playing the game. I'm skipping the combat, trying to get through it as fast as I can. It's just so I can say it's done. And I'm really confused. I still don't know how they're going to end this game, and I just want to know how it ends. I am genuinely curious how they end this game because it doesn't make sense to me at this point. And then,
well, I'm proud of you for playing games like me.
What do you mean?
Just like I'm skipping the side quests. I don't even care. I just need to get to the main story beats and just get out of here.
That's how I play all my games after like the 10-hour mark. At the beginning, I'm all like doe-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I'm like, I'm just gonna roll around in this game and absorb myself in it. And after like 10 to 15 hours, like I just want to get see. Unlike you though, I do want to finish it.
Yeah, that's the thing is I feel like that's my problem is I start out with that same approach and then I burn myself out and then I just never go back.
It's really easy to do with some, especially this kind of game. It's too much. I appreciate what they did. I applaud them, and I know this is probably what they're all going to be like from now on to some degree. I might not pick up the next one if it's just more of the same. Like I like, and we've talked about this before, I like a more pared down Fire Emblem. I like, here's a chapter, here's a battle, hope your units don't die. Good luck. Like that's all I want out of this game, because it's just, that's all I need. Because then I can replay it, because I've only spent 10 hours on one playthrough. I can do another playthrough on the harder difficulty or with like different characters and have a totally different experience. But when you're asking me to do that 3 times over 35 plus hours, that's not happening. Not in a million years.
Nope. I totally agree with you. It's too much.
Yep.
And then you just feel like some of that content's filler, and you're like, why?
Yep.
Just cut some of it and come up with a more concise package that's something that's like great at every moment, instead of having the peaks and valleys.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Last thing I did is not something I played so much as experienced, but I finally dipped my toes into the Animal Crossing New Horizons turnip selling. So if you're unfamiliar, I think they did this in the 3DS game for New Leaf. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a different kind of item. But anyway, one day a week, a character will come to your island, and she will sell turnips. I don't know why it's turnips, but apparently they're very valuable, and they're a hot commodity. So you buy turnips for a certain price. That price fluctuates from week to week, but you can only buy them on this one day. That day is Sunday, actually, and it's from 9 to 12 only, which I find incredibly inconvenient, because I'm either not awake yet, or I have church. And so, like, I don't know what I'm going to do when the quarantine's over and actually have to go to church. But right now, I can
bring your Switch.
Bring my Switch into the pew. That's right. But so you got to buy the turnips from this character, and then every other day of the week. So that's Monday through Saturday. The characters who run the shop in the game will buy your turnips off of you for a fluctuating price. That price can be well below what you bought them, or it can be well above what you bought them. Usually, it's anywhere between like 10 and 20 gold a piece. So you're making a very small loss or very small profit. However, every now and then those, they'll buy them for a ludicrous amount, like anywhere between like 500 and 600 gold, or bells, I should say, which is the currency in Animal Crossing, a piece. So I had 500 turnips, for example. I bought them for 105 bells a piece, which was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50,000 bells. So if I sold them for 600 a piece, that's quite a profit. That's like 300,000 plus bells, like, with an extra 250 in my pocket. So I got on Reddit, and I went to the sub that's dedicated to this. And when I say dedicated, I mean dedicated. They have all these rules about how you can post and what kind of flair you need. You have to have your friend code in there. You have to have the name of your character. You have to have the name of your town. Otherwise, they immediately remove your post because they've got the format encoded and everything, so they can immediately tell. I know this because I accidentally goofed and entered my friend code in incorrectly without a certain dash somewhere. And they're like, no, stop it. You don't know what you're doing. So like there's posts every 2 seconds with people like, I've got them for 500. I've got them for 250. I've got them for like 800. And those go quick. And what they'll do is they'll post, like, I guess the community came together and made this like Google form, and you fill it out with like some really basic information. That automatically puts you into a queue on a Google Sheet form. And like literally no joke, I'll click on a Reddit thread that has 0 comments on it, made 0 minutes ago. I'll fill that form out as fast as humanly possible, and I will be like number 99 on that list. That's how hungry people are for these turnips.
Wow.
And the nature of Animal Crossing multiplayer is, like all Nintendo games, it sucks. And so to visit someone's island takes several minutes just to get in there, takes several minutes just to get out. And you can only have so many people at a time. And when you've got like 100 people who want to come to your island, not that Nintendo should allow 100 people at once, but still, that's going to take all day, and no one should be expected to have their, like, because you have to be in the game too. You have to have the game open, you have to be playing to allow people to come visit you, obviously. And so it's this whole mess. I must have submitted like a request ticket to like 20 different people, and I finally got one. So shout out again to Mars Menagerie on Reddit for making this all possible. I was able to sell my turnips for 380 a piece. I made a nice chunk of change. Gave Juliet some, gave Rachel some, because we're all in this together.
Nice.
Go ahead and dump a bunch of money in this Sunday, make even more on the next. It's not a matter of like, will you sell them? It's a matter of, how much time are you willing to put in early on in the week versus later in the week when people are getting really desperate.
Yeah.
Because We did
Oh
this.
wait, so what happens if you don't sell them on?
They go bad. The turnips,
Oh.
they rot, and then you can't sell them anymore.
Wow, all at once?
Correct. Yes.
Wow.
So you can't hoard, like you can't be like, oh well, I missed it this week. I'll just hoard my turnips in perpetuity. No.
Huh. And so wait, so let me ask you this though: you can sell it in your own game.
Yes.
It's
so,
just
go ahead.
you're not always guaranteed to get much of a profit out of it.
Correct. Most days they'll sell anywhere between like 80 and 150. Like that's the average range. But like I said, every now and then you'll go, I'm like, oh, we're buying turnips for 500 bells a piece. And then that's, when you're like, hey, everybody. Oh, here's the other thing. Tips are a thing. So someone's wasting their time opening up their island to you. There's this kind of like, some people do charge. They're like, I want this item in exchange for you coming to my island. They actually want some kind of payment, whether that's money, a recipe to make something, or the item itself. Other people are like, oh, it's free, but tips are appreciated. So of course you feel obligated to like give them like a cut of what you just sold, because you're walking away with this huge profit. All you had to do is bug this person to let you into their island. So I'm hoping that in the next couple of weeks I can get a high turnip price, invite a bunch of people, and you know what my price of admission is going to be?
2%?
No, it's going to be like, share, subscribe the podcast.
Oh, that's genius.
So we got to get it. We got to get in the code and make it so that I can get my turnips, not for the money, not for the gains, but for the follows.
Do it, man. Do it.
Yeah. So that was interesting. It was stressful. I'm definitely going to do that not in the middle of the day next week. Probably do it towards the end of the week during the evenings when hopefully things are a little slower. I think I did it during like peak time today too, which was a terrible idea. But if you're patient, like I said, there's no reason to think that you won't sell your turnips at an amazing price. I know on Twitter they have like a hashtag for turnip exchange, and it gets pretty crazy too. All right,
go turnips.
That's all I had. Jason, something's been bugging you though. What's been bugging you, man?
Okay, this is my gaming gripe of the week. Okay, and trust me, I am in like an agitated state most of my existence, so it doesn't take much to annoy me. But I have to say, I think Starbucks may have just been the thing that set me off last year, and it's just rolling into this year because both of our birthdays are in May, and so during the month of May, you have this range of companies who reach out to you and they're like, happy birthday. And sometimes it's just like a happy birthday email or whatever. Well, Nintendo usually does a happy birthday promotion sort of thing. In the past few years, it's been like 10% off select games. The majority of those games being like really crappy 3DS games and maybe one Switch game that you don't want, but still, like, they're putting in a little bit of effort, and you're gonna have to pay for it, but at least you get a little bit of a discount. Well, this year, Nintendo's birthday email was just like happy birthday, and it was 4 wallpapers and a downloadable desk calendar that you have to print off yourself. And I don't even have a printer that prints because I've been out of cyan ink for about 2 years now. So I can't print black and white.
That's the best kind of ink.
Is it? Is it what makes all the black and white happen? Because apparently that's what my printer thinks. Exactly. So, that's been bothering me. This rollback of birthday things, just don't do them. Just don't do them. I'm not expecting anything from you. I just don't want to click on this thing thinking that it's something that it's not, I will say this, Starbucks annoyed me too with the same exact thing, because for several years, if you had an account on their app, then you would get a free coffee just for going in. Well, Lauren and I started pulling our Starbucks gift cards into her account, but her birthday's attached to her account. You're supposed to get a free drink for your birthday in the month of your birthday. Well, flashback, like this was like several years ago. Then they evolved it to, well, it's got to be the week of your birthday. I'm like, okay, fine. I still get my free drink. Then it had to be on the day of your birthday. But then in addition to that, you had to have made a certain amount of purchases with that account within that calendar year.
That's so stupid.
And I'm like, guys, this is what I get at Starbucks. I get a venti Pike Place, just regular black coffee. And it costs $2. But they wouldn't give me the $2 coffee, but they made me drive to the Starbucks under the pretense that I was going to get a free coffee. And I was so frustrated that I didn't even buy one. So anyway, this has just been my experience with birthday promotions and it's gotten to the point where I just ignore them all because they're all bad.
Yeah, they are terrible, especially Nintendo's. They've always been a joke. But
just give me some fake platinum points or something. Like, why even, like, do I really want to print out a desk calendar? First of all, we're already 5 months into the year. What if my birthday was in December? Are you going to give me a desk calendar for 2020?
Also, what does that even, like, on what kind of paper? Who wants a calendar made of printer paper?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ugh.
Anyway, I'm done ranting. That's my gaming gripe of the week. I was very frustrated by it.
But
that's all I have to say.
Not as frustrated as Starbucks.
No, Starbucks is, and that's the thing is like Starbucks triggered me to be on high alert for these things, and Nintendo's just getting the brunt of it. But it is what it is.
Poor Nintendo. They can't do anything right.
Sorry.
Seriously though, Nintendo, you can't do anything right. You're going to be on this list every week, I think.
Probably.
We weren't even willing to pull our punches on the canceled Direct.
I tried hard. I was like, I understand the cultural difference. No, I don't. Give the reins to Nintendo of America. Reggie, come back to us.
Reggie, come back.
Bowser, take over.
Bowser's a weak-willed man.
Doug Bowser, you
Bowser.
coward.
Doug Bowser's a coward, and he should prove it on this podcast. Friend of the show, Doug Bowser.
Ooh, friend of the show, Doug Bowser. He's going to be on next week.
Mm-hmm. Just stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Doug Bowser. Talk like this. And
does he really?
And I'm a coward.
I hope that's true.
No, he doesn't talk like that. Have you not seen him?
I've seen him. I haven't, like...
He's just this bald white guy with a really, like, unassuming voice, and he doesn't have a presence. It's unfortunate.
Well, everybody can't be Reggie.
But, like, you kind of want to hire Reggies, you know?
You don't necessarily... It's... Okay, so the people that are in these positions have been working for the companies for years.
Yeah.
And I understand, like... the thing is like, I feel like sometimes you want to, for something like that that's really public, like you want to promote from within, but when they were hired and they've gone on this trajectory, social media wasn't a thing. They didn't know they were going to have a personality when they got to this point of their career. So like, I don't know, it's hard.
Sounds like you're making excuses for Nintendo.
I'm not trying to, but I'm just saying things have changed rapidly, and the executives in these companies have been in the workforce since probably the 80s.
Should probably follow him.
And now all of a sudden they have to be these social media personalities. They only ever thought they were going to have to be like good at what they did.
Yeah, I understand. I do, but I don't. Yeah. You know,
Nintendo can't do anything right.
He knows. All right. Let's go ahead and do some questions. Just one.
I'm going to read it.
You're
just one question this week. I want to read it because I want you to. I've been talking for a long time. I want you to talk first. Okay. This one comes from our very dedicated listener, Sean. Josh texted me and apologized for not having questions yet. And my brother wrote in a question, but I don't think it's pertinent to this episode, so we're going to save it. But cool. Sean writes in, and he says, "Hey, fellas. More of a low-key question this week. What's a game that you really enjoyed that did not do well, either financially or critically? In recent memory, mine would be Titanfall 2, which is probably the most enjoyable first-person shooter single-player campaign I've played, but got released at the worst of times. Take care, Sean."
Thank you, Sean. And you're kind of right. Titanfall 2 did well critically, at least as far as people who like write and review games. They liked it a lot, especially the single player component. Adding that and really fleshing it out from Titanfall 1 was a huge win in the minds and eyes of critics. It was a flop financially. compared to what it was up against, which was Call of Duty. I think it was the one in space, the Infinite War, whatever. They had Jon Snow. And then it was Battlefront, whatever. No, Battlefield, excuse me. The EA's Call of Duty. For some reason, EA said, hey, let's go ahead and let them release it right next to one of our biggest competitors and the thing that we compete with that competitor on. And so, yeah, it was definitely sent out there to die. I've actually never played it, so I might check it out sometime, but especially if Sean likes it. As far as your question, Sean, your questions are so beautiful. I only play amazing games that everyone likes, though, so unfortunately, I don't have a good answer. I was going to say Sonic Adventure 2, but then I looked it up, and it was actually well received critically. I know that the public opinion doesn't always translate to critical opinion, but I don't know how to gauge public opinion on a game that's as old as Sonic Adventure 2. Funny to note, the Metacritic score for Dreamcast was quite high. It was like mid to high 80s. The Metacritic score for the exact same game on GameCube was like in the 60s, and I don't know why. But I mean, if you were to walk around, you'd find some people who were nostalgic for that game. They might not like it, but they might be nostalgic for it. But for the most part, you'd be like, Sonic Adventure 2, that game's stupid. So I think this kind of qualifies. But I love that game. I legitimately love that game. I don't think there's a bad part about it, aside from the parts that are obviously really bad, but like from a all Sonic games are bad kind of way. Like, as far as Sonic games go, it is the best Sonic game. Hands down.
I love that game so much.
Like, and not just the Chow part, right? Like, the Chow part.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I played through that, like, first level. I mean, and it's like the time trial aspect of it and trying to get that better score. It's a lot like what we talked about our experience with Tony Hawk Pro Skater last week, where it's like you just want to get in there and do better, and just like you find a little, oh, here's a shortcut, or here's a little thing that I didn't know, or here's a collectible, or here's a thing for my Chow. It's just so fun.
So much fun.
And you had this sense of speed.
The speed of sound. Places to go, gotta follow my rainbow. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. I wish we're going to get video on this podcast eventually, but I was dancing just now. So there.
Perfect. But yeah, no, I love that game for all of its aspects. I even love the horrendous story with Shadow the Hedgehog.
I don't remember this story. I just remember the awesome level design and the speed and like the rail. Do you remember the rail level where you were like grinding on a rail through this thing, and you could like jump to different rails, and you could glitch the game and jump to like the end of it, the end of the level from like oh my gosh.
Oh, it was so much fun. Like you would just like super, like I don't remember how, but like, yeah, you would just be going so fast, and then you would just jump at a certain point, and yeah, you just sail to the end of the level.
Yeah, because you thought, like, I'm definitely going to die. But if you aimed it correctly, you could land on the rail at the end of the game, at the end of the level. And, like, that you could not do any better than that on the time trial.
Pretty much. But yeah, pick that game, A, because I love it. I do. I legitimately like that game. But Sean, I know you love that game too, so I know you get a kick out of that answer. Jason, what seemingly bad game do you love a lot?
Dude, this is not just seemingly bad. This is bad. I don't know if you ever have even heard of this or if you've ever seen it, but it's a game called Mischief Makers for the N64.
I rented that once, and then many years later, couldn't remember if I dreamed it or not. Like, I went on a manhunt on the internet, and I was like, please tell me what this, and this was before like the internet this was probably like still like 10 years ago. And I was like, somebody tell me I wasn't crazy. And I played this game because I wanted to find it, because I think I was trying to emulate it maybe. I think it was an emulation at the time. But yeah, no, I played Mischief Makers. I rented it. I remember it was hard, and I didn't like it very much at the time, but it did leave an impression on me.
Dude, I don't know what it was about this game, but I just loved it. So it came out in 1997. And just so we're all on the same page here, it's too old to be on Metacritic, but it did get a 6.2 out of 10 from IGN. So it is not critically received. I can't imagine it sold well. It was developed by a studio named Treasure and published by Enix. The only thing I saw that I recognized from Treasure was a pretty well-renowned game called help me out with this pronunciation. Ikaruga?
Ikaruga.
Okay. So yeah, that was a game that's a pretty popular one. It has a 10 out of 10 on Steam. But anyway, same developer. It was released in Japan under the name Yuki Yuki Troublemakers, which I just found amusing. So basically what this game was is it was a 2D side scroller, and it almost had like a 2.5D art style. It was one of 2 games I received with my N64 for Christmas the year that I got it. The other one being Super Mario 64, of course. And I don't remember a lot about it other than just loving it and playing it a ton because it was one of 2 games that I had for the longest time. I remember the levels being a little bit sandboxy for the time because you could go wherever you wanted to go in the level and there wasn't a time limit, and there were all these little NPCs just standing around, and you could like pick them up and throw them into things. And so there were some puzzles where you had to pick up the NPCs and throw them into objects to like break open an area or find a gem or defeat an enemy or whatever it was. The way you interacted with the environment was really interesting to me at the time because obviously we were coming off Super Nintendo, and my idea of a platformer was Super Mario Bros. Like that was a platformer to me, and it's a fantastic platformer. I would even today I'd say it's probably the greatest of all time. But this one had some mechanics that just didn't have, that I think you just couldn't have on the Super Nintendo. So different mechanics for traversal. Oh my gosh, I can't say that word, Karch.
Traversal.
Yeah, thank you. You had like this little rocket booster, so you could like jump, and then you had this little like half a second boost that you could use to help you make your way to the goal. Or you had like these little circle things that you would have to run and jump and grab and then like throw yourself off of to like launch yourself over to the next thing. There were also these different colored gems, and I don't remember what they did, but I vaguely remember being able to like combine them in a pot that you had to hold to make more valuable gems. So yeah, I know that's not a really detailed explanation of it, but I just remember cherishing this game, and then looking back on it, it was so dumb, but I still loved it, and I would go back and play it today.
Yeah, we should probably try to like fish it out somewhere and give it a run.
I saw a YouTube playthrough, and I actually like watched quite a bit of it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember that level. So like, I guess I got pretty far into the game.
I had no idea that Treasure made this game, and I didn't know they were the developers for Ikaruga, because Ikaruga is like, that is the shmup. Like, people love Ikaruga, and I think it's like,
lying.
No, you're right. I'm looking at it right now, and it's crazy to me. Like, they made that game. And they made a few other things. I recognize some of the other names on the list, but like none of them stand out like this game does in such a weird way, And then also we made Mischief Makers. I mean, Mischief Makers first. Ikaruga came out in 2001. It looks like, but still.
Dude, I was looking at their list. They still had games up until like 2008. So I don't know if they're still open and make. Oh, really?
Yeah, but they weren't good. I'm looking at them. Nothing else was. Yeah.
So they haven't done anything in like 6 years. They might be out of business, but
they might be. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good answer. I like that was the kind of answer I wanted to give. Not that my answer is bad, but I really I wanted to dig deep and find that thing that, oh yeah, that is a kind of a really bad game.
Oh man, I have a handful of games like that where I like, okay, so what was that? Oh my gosh. It was like it was Mystical Ninja.
Goemon's Journey. Yeah. Mystical Ninja.
Yeah. That's like another one. I freaking love that game, and I have no idea
played it.
Oh my gosh, I love that game. I especially like that you could glitch it. Like if you went to the edge of the map and try to jump over it, then your character would just like hover, and then you could like just be stuck hovering and fly across the map.
You just can't make a game like that anymore, and then have it be received so well, like even by kids, because that's what we were. We were just dumb kids playing a game that we rented from Blockbuster that made no sense to us because it did.
I owned this game, my friend. I owned this game.
Okay, well, I played it with you, and I rented it from Blockbuster on a kid. But this was still when games needed a manual. You needed a manual to explain just a few things here and there, because either it was poorly translated in-game or wasn't spoken about in-game at all because they just assumed you were going to read the manual for a particular interaction. Like, I remember I really wanted to play that game, but I was stuck. I had no idea what to do.
Same.
And then, like, after the fact, years later, I think I read a wiki on it. I was like, I wanted to know what I was doing wrong back then.
Yeah.
And I had these batteries. Apparently, you're supposed to put these batteries in this character, and then now that character, you have that character as part, because like it's hard to describe, but basically you had different party members you'd swap through. It wasn't like a turn based or anything like that, but everybody had like a different skill that would let you get to a different part of a map, maybe. And you couldn't do this other thing until you got that character, and I just could not figure out how to get that character. But so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get Mischief Makers. We're gonna get Mystical Ninja.
Yeah, get Mystical Ninja. And I have one more to add: the Super Nintendo Chester the Cheetah game.
Do you actually like that though?
I mean, I swear I rented it like 5 times when I was in elementary school. I don't remember if I like it or not.
Yep. That doesn't count. I'm not letting you put Chester the Cheetah.
You know what? You're right. That game sounds like the worst. But is it the actual worst?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's my turn. It's my turn to pick, isn't it?
It is your turn to pick. Yes. Yes, it is.
This is like playing Russian roulette in a weird way, because you just like you have to pick, but at the same time you're in no way like I am choosing when to pull the trigger, but at the same time I have no control over my destiny.
You ready?
And for anybody who's never listened to this, you just listen and you'll understand what's happening. I'm going to call Greg and we're going to see if he's going to answer. Oh, no, hold on. I have to pick. I'm going to say he is going to answer, okay?
Oh, that's right. We're just going to wait and see.
Yeah, I was just going to wait and see. And hey!
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm a winner, and you're the best.
I knew I was going to answer today.
Dude, I'm so proud of you.
I'm in my car, so I could actually... It told me, it said, like, turn off the music and answer your phone, Greg. And I was like, all right, I can do this.
Wow. Dude, I am so... You're running late to work. A little bit.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Hey, question for you.
What's up?
Should Karch buy a Shure SM58? That's like the one that I'm using right now.
Yes, I think your guys' stuff has sounded really good, though.
No.
I don't think any listeners would complain about your audio quality.
Okay, well, let's just leave it like it is then. We'll leave it like it is. Other question, are you going to be able to edit this tomorrow morning, or are you going to wait until tomorrow night?
Considering I woke up at like 11:30 today, I should be wide awake after work.
Okay, well, then I'll have these raw files to you tonight.
Thank you very much, man.
All right, well, we'll let you go. Thanks for answering. Thanks for playing. You were the best this week. Jason is a winner. We'll talk to you later on, man.
See ya.
Bye.
I'm starting to think this is rigged because you guys are
I
brothers.
swear it's not. I swear it's not.
And you texted him like 30 minutes ago and said, you better wake up, you delightful man. And
I didn't. He's supposed to be at work right now.
that's true. You did say he was running late.
So it's 11:01 p.m. Central, so it's midnight Eastern. That's what time he starts his shift.
Yeah.
So,
No, you're right. Usually we call him just a little bit earlier. So
yeah.
before you punish me, I just wanted to note there's a cool feature I just saw on the Xbox store or on the Game Pass store or whatever you call it. It's called Surprise Me, and you click a button and it just like roulettes some games at you, and then it picks a ring. So if you're ever bored and you want to like, I don't know what to play on Game Pass, just click Surprise Me.
I like that.
Yeah.
I just clicked it. Okay. Huh. Now I have options. Hold on. Now I have options.
You gonna give me the option to choose like you said last time?
Yeah, hold on. Let me, hold on. What was that game? Hold on. Let me find it.
We need to play Streets of Rage 4.
Well, I mean, you and I are going to do that anyway. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay. 1, 2, or 3?
Let me get the dice. Let me get the dice roll out. I'm just gonna leave it all a chance. Dice roller D&D. All right, we're gonna get a D6 evens. Wait, no, that doesn't work. I don't know how to do this. 3.
3. Man. I'm so torn. I'm so torn on what to make you play. I'm going to go with the randomly generated game, Wizard of Legend on Game Pass.
That's supposed to be pretty good.
Okay, well,
like roguelikes and stuff.
Oh, cool. Well, then there you go. I'm trying not to be too mean. So here are the 3 that you were going to pick from. I pressed the surprise me button to get Wizard of Legend. The other one was Plague Tale Innocence. Because some people have said they liked it, but I have heard mixed things, and I didn't think you would like it. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was Power Rangers Battle for the Grid.
Oh, dude, you should have picked that one. That would have been so much fun. But you already said Wizard of Legend, so.
Okay, well, it is what it is. I didn't think this would be that interesting of a... Like, I want to drive people to actually watch what we're playing.
I know. I can switch to it.
No, so I picked it. It's going to be Wizard of Legend, and you're going to record it, and I'll put it up on Sunday.
Yeah, sounds great. I actually just took this off my Switch wish list.
Nice.
Because I was like, I'm never going to buy this.
Do you think you'll be able to play before Sunday?
Before Sunday? Yeah, I should be able to.
Okay, yeah, if you can give me the footage, I'll put it up Sunday.
Sounds great.
Cool. Well, all right, everybody. That is all we have for this week. Please go find us at neverfreetoplay.com or patreon.com/neverfreetoplay. Hope you all have a fantastic week. We will try, but we are never free to play.
Follow us on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, follow us on Twitter. Probably want to put that like before the...
No, just put it after.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll do that.
¿Qué tal a todos? Hoy es Cinco de Mayo y somos Never Free to Play, un podcast donde hablamos sobre los juegos que deseamos estar jugando. I'm Karch Palashti, joined by my co-host Jason Wright. If you decide you like us... No, that didn't work. It didn't work as well as I wanted it to.
Dude, I loved that. I'm sitting over here laughing so hard.